As we have discussed about how these agriculture practices are done, what are the techniques the farmers are using to do a met- proper agriculture method. So last week we have discussed about how to loosen the soil, what are the basic practices, etc., and what are the machines we are using for making preparation for the preparing the soil part. So after preparing the soil, same time when the farmers are preparing their soil by plowing or by the mechanical or artificial or by the traditional method, same side they will be preparing for the next step, that is sowing. So before entering into sowing, they need best quality seeds. So since we are living in India is 100 percentage depending upon agriculture. Indian economy is mostly depending upon the agriculture and its products. So many new varieties of seeds are coming to this market because India is going to be number one in population. So we don't have much agriculture areas left. We need more food in order to feed the stomach of these millions, and our areas are depleting, agriculture areas are depleting. So the farmers, they will never depend upon traditional seeds means, uh, if a normal farmer will cultivate a seed, from that he will keep something for the next year, and from that the farmer will get only very less yield after harvesting. So in order to avoid that, now we are depending upon genetic seeds means, we know that in the biology all the process inside a cell is controlled by genes, that is DNA or an RNA. So some manipulations are done inside that, and those type of seeds are available in the market. For your understanding, for one example, if you go to the market, there are two varieties of grapes are available. One is with seed, small one, which is a natural one. Another one is without seed, the big one. That big one is artificial. So it is made so that many of the people can taste the what is the taste of, many of the people can use grapes, because grape is used for making grape juice, wines, etc. So many of them can use, so that was made. So like that, these seeds the farmers will collect according to the need. If the farmer wants to feed only for a family, so he will go for the traditional. If he want to sell the products outside, so he will go for the artificial, so that he will get a good yield. So whatever the thing, the second method the farmer will choose is sowing. So when this farmers are sowing, before sowing the seed, the soil will be ready. Soil will be properly managed. If there is any waste products are there, all the things are removed. After that, for sowing, the farmers will use two methods. You can see there in figure 1.2a. So it is a traditional tool for sowing, and it is something like a funnel shape. You can see that one person is filling something inside. So when the ox move forward from the funnel, few drops of the seeds will be falling down. So the sowing will be properly, when they sow it, they will do it in a proper distance. That means the proper distance will be kept in between the seeds. But this traditional process is laborious. So nowadays the method they are using is seed drill. You can see in the figure 1.2b. That means it is 100% running on the base of mechanical. It is 100% mechanical. That means the same thing which the ox and the humans were doing, in this machines will be doing, and these machines will do the work. And when the machine started to do, they will do very fast and accurate. So whenever we will sow here by using an ox, so maybe a proper depth will not be maintained, because seed should not be seen above the soil. If they are seen above the soil, maybe the root and the shoot will not grow properly, or some birds will come and eat. So in order to avoid that, seed should be put in a proper depth, little bit of proper depth, not very deep, just to the surface of the soil wherever the soil preparation was done, just for that. So this seed drill will help to do this. After this and why we need a proper distance, and why we need that pattern, because whenever the seeds started to grow, if all the seeds are clumped together in one area, the seed will never get a proper sunlight, nutrients, etc. while the time of growing. When the time of sowing, there will be no problem, but when they are growing and harvesting, so since they will never get proper sunlight and nutritions, so the final yield will be very, very less. Next one, that is adding a manures and fertilizers. Manures and fertilizers, it is the nutrient part. That means potassium, phosphate, nitrogen, whatever is required, we are giving to the crop, giving to the seed to grow. So manure and fertilizers, the two different terms. Manures means whatever you are getting biologically, that means organic, and fertilizers are artificial. Keep it in mind, manures are organic, that means whatever the nature is there. For example, ash, you know that whenever the plant falls down to the soil, this plant will undergo decomposition. When they decompose, from that also we will get these nutrients. So that is also a manure. Then what are fertilizers? Fertilizers are artificial. And why nowadays people are 100% depending upon fertilizers? Because fertilizers will give a very fast result, but manure will never give a fast result. The process is very slow and no fast result. But one thing is there, for a soil, according to a farmer's point of view, manure is better than fertilizer, because when we add these chemical fertilizers, these chemicals will destroy the natural soil fertility, but manures will never do that. So if the natural soil fertility is lost, then what will happen? The crop will never grow properly. That means crop will never grow without fertilizers. So because of this reason, farmers are nowadays running behind manures. Another one more thing, if we go to the field, maybe 10, 15, 20 years back, when we go to the field, you can see lot of earthworms, which is earthworm is considered as the farmer's friend. But when we go now to the farmland, we can't see even a single earthworm, because maximum of these earthworms are gone from our soil because of this addition of fertilizers and use of unwanted chemicals. So manures are the best when we compare with fertilizers. But there is a negative part for the manure, is manure will show the result very slowly, but fertilizers will show the results very fast. So this is a next step the farmers will do. So after preparing soil, then seed they will collect, they will sow the seed, they will add the manures, and the next one what they will call is irrigation. Irrigation means supplying water for the crop in a different interval, that is known as irrigation. So irrigation mainly we are depending as water as a major source, and water is very essential for seeds, because in order for the seeds to germinate out, water is very very essential. Without water, the seed germination will never takes place. If we add manure also, if we don't add manure also, if we add fertilizers, if we add manure, if we sort properly, if the water content is less, then there will be no germination. So water is very very important. So in India we are followed many traditional methods also, and nowadays we are having some of the artificial techniques also for the irrigation purpose. So source of irrigations are many: tube well, ponds, rivers, lakes, many things. And you can see some of the pictures here in which the traditionally how this farmers are doing this irrigation. You see this one is the motor, that is a pulley system. In that pulley system, what is happening, one farmer is taking the water from the well and pouring it to one area, so that water will flow to the farm area. And number two, if you see here, it is chain pump. Chain pump means you can see that water source will be very far, one person will pull that chain and pour the water, then that water will go to one area. And the next one, that is called as the dekli. You can see that in order of pulling, they are using a big rod like thing, especially a big long stem of a plant, very hard strong stem, by which they are taking the water out from the well. These all methods are traditional, and there is one problem for the traditional methods. We can follow the traditional methods if we are having only a small area of farming land. If we are having huge area of agricultural land, traditional methods will never work out. So nowadays in the modern irrigation, what this farmers are doing, they are using two techniques. One is known as sprinklers and another one is known as the drip irrigation. Concept is very simple. Sprinklers you have seen here, that means whenever there is a need of water, they have put tubes at a proper interval, vertically or horizontally, inside the farmland, and from that tube a perpendicular pipe goes up. When they open the tap from the well side, or when they switch on the motor from the well, which is kept near to the well, when the water started to come out through the motor, the water will travel through this pipe and it will go up to the sprinkler, that means perpendicular tube, and it will rotate like this. When they are rotating, water will sprinkle all over the area according to the position where it is located, and according to the diameter how far it can go. And the next one is known as the drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is one of the best methods which was invented by the Middle East country known as Israel. What they found is, in this drip irrigation, they found is very effective in their area, because Israel is a country which is, when they came there in 1947, it is almost 60% of the land was desert. But now they have, from that 60%, almost 30 to 35% of the land they have converted into agricultural land. So what they do is they did drip irrigation. Drip irrigation means the same method like sprinkler, but in drip irrigation only that tube will be there on the ground at a particular interval. From that tube there will be small pores will be there. Through that spores, drop by drop, the water will fall. So if in a desert area, if we give water like that for a frequent time, maybe for 1 month, 2 months, etc., you can see that soil will become fertile and the plants started to grow. And it is one of the best methods to give irrigation for fruiting plants. So fruit plants can go, gardens and trees is one of the best effective method. So this is the next method the farmer will go. And next one is Protection from the weeds. Protection from the weeds means unwanted plants that is growing in between the crops. That's all. That is called as weeds. So there will be many plants will be there. So in order to protect the plants from these weeds, what these farmers are doing is, if it is small area, farmers can go there, one by one they can pluck out the weeds and throw away. And that particular process is known as weeding. That is, the removal of weeds are known as weeding. If it is in a huge area, then human method, that means plucking one by one, is very laborious. It will take a lot of time. So what they will do is, they will use weedicides. Weedicides are chemicals that will act upon these weeds and stop the growth of the weeds. Remember, they are chemicals. So when we put chemicals in the farmland, they have positive side also, it is having negative side also. Positive side is, if we can do agriculture for a huge area, we can protect the crops from weeds, but same way it will pollute the soil also. So the amount of weeds and what is the intensity, that is the toxicity of the weeds, all will be done according to the experimental methods. Then only that chemical will come to the market. This is the next method they will do. And another one more thing is that finally the last one, what they will do is harvesting. Harvesting means cutting of the crops after reaching its maturity. So harvesting also can be done manually. Harvesting can also be done by using machines. If it is a small area, manually if you do, it's very effective. Sickles, by using sickles, etc. There are a lot of methods are there. We can harvest. Sickles are the common method what we do in India. Apart from that, we have machines which can do this harvesting. So whenever the farmers are harvesting the crops, related to that we are having festivals also. Once the harvesting is done, now the next process is coming is separate the crop, that means the seed, from the plant. That will be done through the process of threshing, and whatever is remained after threshing, we call it as chaff. So after threshing, the crops will be separated, separated, chaff will be present. Chaff can be used for a manure purpose or some burning or some other normal purpose they can use, and the crops farmers will use for their family purpose as a food, or they will store it to sell it outside. So in the next and the last one related to this, it is coming is storage. So when we are coming to this storage part, food grains, especially wheat, rice, and those things, cereals and pulses, are stored for a long time. We have Food Corporation of India. They will collect crops and cereals from different parts of India and they will store inside their godowns. So whenever there is a problem for the food, for example, now we are gone under lockdown, many of the people, they don't have food. The government announced that they will give free food for everybody. From where they are taking this food from this Food Corporation godowns. They will take food, that means the cereals and pulses which is already stored there, they will take from that. So whenever the food crops are stored, same it is a food to humans also. It is a food to many of the rodents, for example, many of the animals also. So we have to properly store the food. So sometimes if we have rodents there, then we will be using rodenticides, the chemical which have the capacity to kill the rodents, and we will spray some chemicals on these crops so that insects and other things will never come and feed on that like this. And even they will not allow bacteria and fungi also grow on that. So if we eat any food which is infected by bacteria and fungi, sometimes it may cause food poisoning, and other issues. So by taking all these measures, the farmers will store the food crops and they will use this for the future. So I am stopping with this. If there is any doubts or anything that you have not understood, so please comment under in the comment section and read the textbook very properly. If any portion I have missed, let me know, because I am using the textbook as a, for my reference I am using is the CBSE textbook that is published by NCRT. If you are going through some of the private textbooks, there will be some extra contents, so that contents also I will deal with. At present I don't have that that private publishers textbook with me. So as I get it, as soon as I will get it, I will solve that problem. So just go through the textbook, and if there is anything that you have not understood, or if anything I have missed, please notify me. Thank you.